right, students, welcome to Asynchronous Monday. Let's dive right into the task of the day. So the target is I will recognize common errors made on the email task last week, Thursday, by restating the errors to avoid. Okay. So just keep in mind the mindset we need to have throughout this lesson is you're thinking about what errors you made and how you can prevent yourself from making those errors. Emailing is really going to be part of our lives moving forward more than we could have ever imagined. So it's important to keep that in mind, along with our Maya Angelou quote that we've seen before. All we can hope to do is improve, right? So let's jump right in. The task last week was to choose one of these expectations and to share how you know you are going to meet that expectation. So you are basically reflecting on something you're good at. It was a positive email where you shared a strength, right? So you stated why you're writing, what you would meet, how you knew you were going to meet that expectation. So you were supposed to provide evidence that shows that you were going to be able to prove that you would meet that. Okay. And then there was a structure that was provided to be extra helpful to ensure that you were successful. Okay. Here's an example of that structure being used. You can see the title. So this is not the subject line. This is the beginning of the email. Starts off with Dear Miss Benish. So this student was writing to Miss Benish a well-wishing statement. Okay, goes on to copy. All the blue text is copied straight from this structure. Okay, and then the black text is the student's voice. So you can see they're addressing the teacher in the beginning. The indentation is all aligned. That has to do with learning how to format a letter. An email essentially is a form of a letter. And then there's closure, and you're ending with your name and your period. Okay, so those are some highlights of a meet standard example. Okay, so let's go over some of the errors students were having. So the first one, let's take a look at the subject line. Students just had to copy this. This is an example of what was turned in, and we see some students made a mistake there. So it's not many. Many were successful, but it's worth noting that we need to be really careful and thoughtful about our subject line. Okay. The next thing I want to highlight is the alignment. So this is actually important. It's learning how to write a letter. The alignment actually matters. Okay. And so here are some student examples. Okay. You can see that the indentation is not occurring here. And sometimes it's really helpful for students in middle school to see their own work or their peers' examples so they can learn from them. Okay. And that's why we provide you this sample so you know how to set up a letter. Okay. Similar here, what you see here is the student signed in the middle. Okay. So that was the error in terms of alignment or indentation. Another common error is the signing off. So here are some student samples that show what was emailed. So you can see for both students here, they completely neglected to sign their email, which is an essential part of emailing. And remember, putting your period is also really important in distance learning. Okay. And I want to end with content and grammar. I decided not to tackle content today because many students struggled with what they were supposed to write about. You could read all the different examples in the video and the slides and see that there was confusion in that area. But it is helpful to show common mistakes to avoid. This student forgot a whole part of the email, which is probably the most important part of the email. So you can see the student just completely neglected that sentence. So I wanted to point that out. And then we have two other examples that are very common in middle school students not checking their grammar. Lots of capitalization mistakes.